What's up, everybody? Welcome to Scout Life. I'm James Ivy Williams, founder and CEO of Between the Lines Sports, and we just celebrated 6 years of business this past December 2022. And while it's been a whirlwind of a journey, it's also been a stressful one, a challenging one, something with successes and failures, and something that has shaped and molded me into the person that I am today, right? So when I first started BTL, the goal was to simply get back to the NBA. I worked in the NBA maybe about 10 years ago with the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, primarily in their G League operation as the player personnel coordinator / basketball operations coordinator. And I had an amazing time. I worked 16-hour days mostly, doing everything from laundry to on-court practice, video editing, video scouting, on the bench during the games, driving players to and from practice, to and from games, taking players to get haircuts, to get food, negotiating hotel stays for players, signing players to their contracts, releasing players from their contracts, moving players from series contract level A, level B, level C, and moving that stuff all the way around. Unfortunately, did not go back to the Cavs and kind of was lost for a little while. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, wasn't sure what I would do, but I knew I wanted to stay in basketball. Although it didn't happen right away. I mean, I did sales for quite a while, for about 4 years. After that, just, trying to find my way, which sales wasn't a bad thing, but it was definitely something that I had to get comfortable with and learn from, because I'm not necessarily a, make you buy this kind of person. So I had to learn how to sell in the way that I would want to be sold to, pretty much. But I knew that what I wanted to do was to get back to basketball. Well, I thought I had this great resume, and I knew that I had something to offer an NBA team. The question that I got asked most of the time was, well, what have you been doing recently? And my answer was, I've been working. I'm an adult. I have to work. I have to find, ways to provide for my family. And a very close NBA friend informed me that the question was being asked because they wanted to know what I was doing in the basketball space. And I didn't know the answer at the time, right? I didn't know what was I supposed to do. I didn't want to be a high school coach. I didn't want to work in AAU. And not because I don't think that those are respectable jobs in basketball, but I just knew getting to the NBA would be a lot harder because those jobs aren't necessarily viewed the same way that they view other jobs. And so with that being said, I pretty much just decided I was going to start my own shop, start Between the Lines Sports, started scouting the G League. A few more months went by, I started covering high school and kind of found my sweet spot in the high school and college space. I say all this to say that sometimes when you start something, you never know where it's going to take you. You have to be open to allowing it to take you wherever you're supposed to be. Starting BTL because I wanted to get back to the NBA because I thought that's where I was supposed to be. It's something that we have to be able to be flexible and be open to when we're pursuing our passions. However, identifying what I needed to work on and what I needed to be better at is what allowed me and BTL to grow in the way that we've grown. We've got over 20 people working with us right now as basketball analysts, video coordinators. I have a designated media person who writes stories, so many other things as well. I pretty much have a operations manager who kind of handles and manages the day-to-day of things, a national scouting director for high school. I mean, we have so many different, or a recruiting director. We have so many different people that are just here and offering up their time to just kind of make BTL what it is. And so I've grown in the company has grown and I've grown in the process. Basketball has just been something I've always been drawn to, something I've always wanted to do, even before I really knew what it was. Nowadays, everyone, knows what an NBA GM is and what a scouting director is and so on. It's so much more popularized. But when I was in college and in high school, you didn't really know what the inner workings of a basketball team were. And at this point, I've kind of built a respectable company within the space that people know who we are, they know what we do, they know what kind of work we provide. The internship opportunities that I provide for young students, which is something that I would have wanted when I was in college. And this is the third season of the internship program, allowing us to help grow them and cultivate them into the people that they've become. And just playing a small part in that is something that I'm really proud of. So this is kind of, if you haven't noticed, this is very much a reflection piece, for Scout Life. Obviously, I knew when I started working in basketball, one of the things I used to say all the time was that I didn't want to be a scout because scouts travel so much, they're always on the road, not realizing that everybody scouts, GM scout, directors and player personnel scout, everybody scouts, right? And so as I've gotten older and gotten a little bit more versed in the inner workings of basketball operations departments in the NBA. That's kind of how we run the business here at BTL. Like I said, we have guys that scout, we have guys that write, we have analytics guys, we have video guys, um, everything. We've got gear now. We've got hoodies and hats. We just I want to make sure everyone feels welcome and included in the process of what we do here between the Lines Sports. Um, but for me, it's just I want to talk about just the importance of pursuing your passion, living your dream, um, not giving up on what you want to do. What we do here is unique, and not to the point of it being special, but to the point of it being something that maybe had not been done before in this way. The idea of covering high school and college thoroughly from 9th to 10th grade all the way through the draft process. So whatever time you come out of high school, coming out of college, we're kind of following you and keeping up with you, getting reports, gathering intel, figuring out who you are, figuring out what kind of person you are, figuring out if you can fit in a certain situation. All those things kind of matter. I recently was asked this question, why would I pick up your service, or why would I hire you? I answered the question, in the moment, and I think after that question was asked, I was kind of taken aback by it. We're persistent in the midst of things not going right and things in turmoil and uncertainty. We're not a big company. There's not a big budget for 20, individuals to go to games and get credentials and things like that. So we figure out a way to do it. I've learned how to delegate, how to manage a team, how to organize travel plans, how to make sure that people know what they're looking for when they're scouting. A lot of people think they know basketball, but do they know how to identify talent? Do they know how to determine what talent is, if that talent will translate? Does he have a transferable skill set? And then identifying guys on the intel side. Well, what kind of person is he? What is he like when no one's around? How does he treat people who are deemed below him? What is his family circle like? Are his parents involved? Does he do drugs? All these things. And so we try to find out all these different things and then put them all together to make sure that we really understand who this person is overall. I would say even more so than basketball, I'm in the people business. I think it's one of my skill sets that I didn't really know I had growing up, but I've always been able to read and identify people. I think people are a lot more complex, and I at no point in time ever want to put somebody in a box before really getting a true understanding of who they are. So I listen. I ask questions, I listen. I want to hear exactly who you are as a person. I want to hear from the people that know you and to find out who you are. I want to hear from people who don't like you, and why don't they like you? And is it justifiable? Because the truth is, we can't be the hero in everyone's story. So I know there's going to be people who don't like you, and that's okay. So just being a little bit more thorough in my research and my approach to everything. I mean, so many basketball events around the country, even the globe. I've got guys in the international place now, in the international space now, covering things in Europe and Canada. So I mean, just the plethora of events that we've covered over the years. We won't stop doing what we're doing. The goal is to bring you the best information possible. If you're a fan of basketball, if you're a worker in basketball, college, NBA, whatever the case may be, we want to provide you the best information we possibly can so you can do your job better or become a better fan by understanding what we know. My goal is to share as much information as I can. I'll give you everything I got. And so as I learn more, you're going to learn more. It's one of those things that I think, every day I wake up, I want to get better and better. I wake up loving what I do. I love the people that I work around, and I love providing the information that I provide. And so the goal is to continue to do that. And there's no better way to do that than repping this brand that's right across my chest and right across my head, Between the Lines Sports. And what's been Scout Life, episode 4.